Wow. I mean, you guys been together for what, 23 some odd years, longer than that?
Just about.
Um, what does it mean to have homecoming back and bringing it back after 5 years and COVID and everything?
Well, it means a lot to me personally because having grown up here and then moved back about 10 or 11 years ago, I've seen the city grow and change, as all cities do. But Cincinnati's my home, therefore it's close to my heart, and I really think it's gotten really great here, and it's a nice opportunity to welcome in the outside world and show them something besides uh, major league sports or what have you, something that's unique to the town because the set list is personally or by the band curated by the band, so we're bringing a lot of artists that we like and that aren't necessarily, you're not going to find them on the same bill anywhere ever in history. So it's unique in that sense with Patti Smith, The Walkmen, and Pavement all on the same concert stage in one weekend is pretty nice for any town, and especially ours. So I'm super excited to be here. Well, I'm already here, but to have other people come and be here with us.
Yeah, and you mentioned you moved back. You're the only band member to do that. What was it that brought you back to Cincinnati?
Uh, Many factors brought me back to Cincinnati. I would say at the time we had two small children, so it was the salmon coming home. We had already spawned, I guess. I guess more of a boomerang. We wanted that. We wanted a yard. We wanted something that we weren't able to really afford in New York, which was a certain quality of life, that we could offer the little ones in our lives. So, it was the kids and, my own internal, whatever, homing device that just brought me back, I guess, yeah.
Collaborate over the
Oh, right. The
computer.
computer has changed everything. Well, interestingly, everybody's everywhere. Nobody is in New York. Only my brother remains, and he's in the suburbs of New York. Aaron's upstate. Matt's in Connecticut, and Bryce is in France. So we're rehearsing this week for the first time. But usually we'll get together at Aaron's studio in New York, or wherever the tour begins, we'll rehearse there. So we've been fortunate to do this for a long time. Then we kind of rehearse independently. So it's not like we don't really have like a long pre-production schedule before a tour. We pretty much just hit the ground running.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are pros at this point, so you know what it takes to get ready. It's almost like you said professional sports, but at this point, NFL players already know what it takes to be ready for training camp and for the game, so they kind of practice on their own and then show up ready.
Yeah, and we also have a very good crew behind us. That's a huge part of the success of the live show. Like, I can't overstate enough, because the crew has been with us for, in some cases, a decade or more. Some of the members, and there's just an integral part to the show. I mean, it's kind of self-evident, I guess. But
it's going to be actually a very busy weekend. You got Oktoberfest going on. You got a Bengals game Sunday. It's going to be a big weekend for Cincinnati.
Yeah, when it rains, it pours. I mean, I guess that's just the way it goes. I think it's a great thing. I mean,
right. The last time you were here, the Icon Brady Center wasn't up and running yet. You had to build your own stage for homecoming. Then you were going to bring it back, but then COVID canceled it. So is this something you're going to do every couple of years? Is this an ongoing thing, or playing it by ear?
The latter. We'll definitely play it by ear. I mean, if COVID taught us anything, the best laid plans go to waste, So I can't make any guarantees that it'll happen again. But let's just live in the moment and enjoy this weekend,
Sure.
Yeah.
Personal question, and I know you probably won't answer this, but what's your favorite national song to play?
My favorite national song to play varies on my mood and my physical state. Obviously there's some energetic physical ones like Blood Buzz, Mr. November, Terrible Love. So I used to dread the challenging ones, but now I actually like a challenge. Like, we're in a place now where we have a new song called Smoke Detector that we're playing that doesn't really have any, predetermined form, so that it's sort of a challenge to come up with something that's actually compelling in that. So that's really fun. But if I like the classics, What would be that? I mean, like, what's a good one to play?
Oh, you named a couple.
I don't know. Yeah. Well, my first instrument was violin. I played violin from age 5 to about 14, 15 years old when I burned out and transitioned to drums. And drumming kind of came naturally, having been familiar with notation and just playing music, and just listening to music and having some coordination, it just made sense. Like, oh, the basics, you just hit this and you hit this and you just use your ears. So like, the way I learned violin was the Suzuki method, and that's an ear training method. So I think the ear training method really worked because I loved listening to music. I had an older brother who had a great record collection and would let me listen to it with him. So it was just in the air, just playing stuff, and just, it was the 1980s. We loved all the music we loved was very drum forward. Like U2 was in our house. That was like my favorite band when I was little.
Me too.
And as you might know, the Larry Mullen Jr. is one of the great drummers of his era. So just like listening to stuff like that, and then as I got older, I started taking lessons from a local guy, and I'm sure you've heard of him, the Afghan Wigs. Their drummer Steve Earle taught at my local music shop. I just wandered in off the street, and we just did a lesson thing for about, it seemed like a year, but maybe it was less. And then he went on tour and never came back. And then I kind of had a series of teachers up through college. There was a guy named Greg Bandy at the Cleveland Music School Settlement that was really instrumental in building my confidence. And then really mainly self-taught after that. Once I had the basics, just copying other people's things. Yeah, just trial and error, a lot of imitation, and just a lot of, again, trial and error, putting it into practice. We probably played 1,000 shows before we did anything, just driving ourselves around playing and playing and playing and finding out what works. And it's more of just like it's like a glitch or a Tourette's kind of thing where the producer always tells you, like, if you think you're going to play a fill, just don't play a fill. I mean, you're sure you're supposed to play, just basically never play a fill is the advice. If I was getting nervous, I try to find out. Basically, I'm commenting or trying to get in between what Matt does and what the guitars are doing. And really, it's what's Matt. I try to give him a nice thing, and then if he's not doing something like that, I can kind of
Do you guys,
get in there.
All these years and being made up of brothers, do you still find yourself to have that same chemistry as you did when you were?
Oh yeah, for sure. Even more so now. I think that we're aware of it and how special it is. And as we're getting older, we're trying to learn gratitude and how to practice that. But yeah, for sure. With Aaron and Bryce, I was playing with them in high school, before high school, really. Oh no, yeah, it was high school, about age 15. And we played in bands since then, more or less uninterrupted. And so it's just certain non-verbal, just purely musical or even like telepathic kind of things that I can kind of sense, and they know, it's this like understanding and a comfort level.
Well, one thing that has also struck me about the Nationals, how unselfish you guys are. I mean, it seems like you bring in other people and share the spotlight with them. Mm-hmm. I mean, there was one point where I think you had a second drummer, or you've had additional acoustics, and you play along with that just great. Obviously, Matt cedes to other vocalists sometimes. My memory's bad. What's the album with the house on the cover?
Oh, Sleep Well Beast.
Yeah, I mean, you brought in a bunch of female, and he co-wrote with his wife, and there's a lot of cooperation going on, and you bring in other artists. Where did that come from?
I don't know. It's always been there from the beginning. The band was formed in Matt's apartment in '99 in the summer as a recording project, and it wasn't just us. It was actually Bryce was living in France at the time studying guitar, but so Aaron and I would go down from Connecticut on the train. My brother and Matt were there, and then our buddy Mike Brewer was running it was a digital 8-track machine. And then our buddy Matt's roommate Jeff Salem was there, kind of strumming along and sort of, I guess, assistant engineering. And then once we started recording and playing, we had a friend Nick Lloyd who helped us, and then there were guest vocalists. This guy Luke Hewitt, and then as Aaron actually it was Bryce first who made inroads into any kind of like scene, And I think it was through the Sufjan Stevens band, and that there were other people can't, because there's so many talented people, and we can only do so much. And there's things that you hear that you want to achieve, and it's like, oh, this person can do that. Let's get them, you know. Or on the case of Sleep All Beats, as you mentioned with the house, the vocalist, her name is Erin Dyer.
She sang for David Bowie, didn't she? I think.
Possibly.
I think I read that
Probably.
somewhere. I think I read that somewhere. Yeah.
I don't know who hasn't sung for David Bowie at this point.
Yeah.
Or David Bowie. Oh, that was the Gail Ann Dorsey.
Yeah, that's.
Sorry, I thought you were talking about David Byrne.
No.
David Byrne's somebody else. But yeah, Gail Ann Dorsey. That's on Trouble. That's on. Is it? I'm Easy to Find.
Yes. I'm sorry.
That's the one. Yeah. Yeah, Gail's amazing. I just saw her recently. She is now she was in David Bowie's band, then Lenny Kravitz, and now she's with a French artist named M. Okay. It's like Michel something or other. Huge French pop star. I don't know. And then she, of course, has her own stuff that she does. But yeah.
I have to ask, the Swiftie community would kill me if I didn't. What's it like to work with Taylor Swift? I
can't answer that. My work with her has all been remote. I've never been in the same room with her. Well, that's not true. I mean, she came to our show many years ago. We were inadvertently in the same. We were in the same space, but I've never sat and worked. I've heard when she's working on a track will come through on the email or gets transferred somehow, the file transfer, and I'll hear it's just like a raw vocal that comes in. And you're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Like the voice, it's like there's no denying that she is an incredible singer. And her melodies are just awesome. Yeah. But I've never really shared the same space. No.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. I know you did. There's the duet she did on the latest record, and then during the stop here she had.
But you hear those voices, because I'll play drums on her stuff sometimes. You'll hear the voice in the headphones, like, okay, that's a unicorn right there. It's like the so-called real deal.
There's a reason she's selling out Paul Brown.
Oh yeah.
Right?
I mean, the cultural phenomenon you could talk about all day long if you wanted to, but just the pure the voice in there and the songwriting is really, really special. But yeah.
Anything I didn't ask?
I'm pretty good. But the festival, I don't know. I couldn't answer your questions probably.
No, you kind of did about, is it coming back?
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
I'm not trying to be cagey. I just don't know. We would plan it. It would probably be about a year out. We would know, and if we were to do it, it would be like a biannual thing at the most frequent thing,
But you are going back on tour, I heard.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, we tour so late. I mean, it's not. We don't tour the 3-month tours that on the heavy metal T-shirt. We do 3 weeks maximum typically, and then we just have this upcoming tour, and then a short U.S. tour, and then we're done for the year.
Sure, you can stop watching, but let's be honest, you want to know more. Tap the links, or even better, click subscribe to stay in the know.